Stomach acid is one of those extremely important aspects for general health and for diabetes, cancer, basically everything. Why? Because if you do not have sufficient stomach acid, you cannot digest. As simple as that. If you're not digesting sufficient, no matter what you're doing, whether you're having good or bad food, you're not going to be digesting it, and you're not going to be able to be feeding your cells with the right nutrition. So let's talk about the stomach acid. Now, stomach acid is to digest the food, but also there's sensory neurons which identify whether there's a lot of acid or sufficient acid to be able to activate the gallbladder. The gallbladder is to be able to make sure you're not constipated, and very importantly, that the fat that you're getting in can be digested. It activates your pancreas, which releases the digestive enzymes for your small intestines. Your liver is supported, the friendly bacteria in the gut is supported. So the amount of acid in the stomach is extremely important. And I'll recover this in depth with quite a few things and misbeliefs about stomach acid. Now, the gallbladder, what does the gallbladder do? Let me just go point out. As you can see, it's connected at the entrance of your small intestine. So when the stomach releases this food, which is high in acid, then this small intestine, it has to protect itself against the acid. So you've got the mucous membrane that covers it, and then when it's in the small intestines, there's no protection against the acid, which then can destroy the villi of the small intestines. That's why the gallbladder must release, and it is alkaline. So the bile that gets released is alkaline. If we're not releasing this, then the liver that has to create the bile is going to be congested. Where does that come from? The bile, what is the material being used? Is the red blood cells, which are circulated, that did not get the rubber stamp of approval, get circulated to refabricate the bile. And that comes from the spleen. So if we're not using the bile, it means the spleen can start taking strain. If you haven't got a gallbladder, it's taken out, then you've got an immediate flow, which means you need to go watch my training and video about gallbladder, no gallbladder video. What happens if you do not have a gallbladder? And there's certain things that steps you need to take if you went through the butchering of taking the gallbladder out. Excuse me using the word butchering, because I believe it's a butchering, because most patients that come in by my practice and they say the gallbladder is taken out, I ask why, and they say they don't know why. The doctor said to them, let's take out the gallbladder because you don't need the gallbladder. And it's not to say that you're going to have less of a symptom, but let's just eliminate possible gallbladder, and the surgery is done. So that's just butchering unnecessary. Now, when we talk about the spleen as well, so that was the gallbladder and pancreas. Let me just cover the pancreas as well. So pancreas, which lies there just behind the stomach, it also delivers enzymes, nutritional or digestive enzymes. So when it's coming from the stomach, it's going to be able to give these digestive enzymes so that we can break the food down in a small enough, usable for the liver, usable to go throughout the entire body, the amino acids and all different things to be able to then absorb. So you've got the liver that's got the gallbladder and the pancreas that then starts supplying it into the small intestine, provided the stomach has got sufficient acid. That's part of why we're talking about the acid. So just an interesting phenomenon. all cancer patients and diabetic patients diagnosed with cancer and diabetes have a compromised digestive system. Now, what is a digestive system? It is the liver, it's a gallbladder, the stomach, small intestine, the pancreas, as well as the large intestines right around. So there's a lot to do with the digestive system, and we need to make sure that we look after our digestive system. Now, let me explain also reflux, acid reflux. So what happens when there's a lot of acid in the stomach? Then the diaphragm pushes closed, and this means it locks up, that the acid does not flush up into the esophagus. Why not? Because the esophagus does not have the protector layer, that fat layer or mucosis layer is not there. So in other words, what's happening is that if it flushes up into the esophagus, it's going to be damaging. And that's also where esophagus cancer comes from, is from this constant acid reflux. Now you get acid reflux and silent reflux. I'll be covering that as well. If the acid is low, what happens? The body does not see it as a threat, and now the diaphragm opens up. Unless you've got a hiatus hernia, it's a different scenario, but it's still coming back to the diaphragm that must close up so that we can make sure that this acid does not flush up into the esophagus. So if there's low acid, not much, it opens up, saying it may be a sting, as if you're going to do that, okay? But it's only a sting. It's not going to be damaging in a way that you're going to be able to be burning the entire esophagus away. So if we get acid reflux, we need to have something more acid in the stomach so that we can be able to have this valve closed up. So believe it or not, when you have acid reflux, go drink some of the apple cider vinegar protocol, and you'll see that almost instantaneously, your acid reflux is gone. 100% of patients that tell me they've got acid reflux, and I give them some apple cider vinegar, the reflux is gone immediately, and I'll explain why. If we look at alkaline compared to acidic, now hydrochloric acid is very acidic. Alkaline, which is drain cleaner, that's very alkaline. If you drink hydrochloric acid or you drink drain cleaner, you're going to die. But we can drink water, which is neutral. It's not acidic and it's not alkaline. And what we eat and drink is either going to be to the acidic, or it's going to go over to the alkaline area. So we just have to understand what is alkaline and what is acidic. Now, if you look at this from 0 to 14, I know I'm not going to be able to ask you, but just think about where must your stomach be? How much acid must be in the stomach? I normally get people saying it's probably about a 4 or 5. No, it's shocking not. It is much more. If you look at, on a 1 is battery acid. Your stomach is supposed to be a 1.5. That is where your stomach acid is supposed to be. So if you're having apple cider vinegar, which is a 2.7, that means you're not even getting as close as that. A lemon is a 2, apple a 3.3, a banana 4.7. So you've got different things that's going to give you more acid or less acid. Now, I get a lot of people saying, but cancer does not grow in a alkaline environment. Now, it's not alkaline body, but alkaline blood. Your blood must be 7.4, less 5 to less 0.05, or on top add another 0.5 to 5. So it can be 7.35 to 7.45. That's what your blood should be. Now, if we have got low stomach acid, it means our blood is going to become acidic. Why? Because the protein that must be supported in the stomach would go through to the kidneys, and the kidneys' number one job is to be able to make sure your blood is alkaline. If it's busy battling with the undigested food particles from the stomach, which means we're battling to be able to break down the proteins, it has to go through to the urine. Before that, it passes through the kidneys, and the kidneys are kept busy with the undigested food particles. It's not going to keep the blood alkaline. So if you've got an alkaline stomach, you're going to have acidic blood. If you have got acidic stomach, your chances of having alkaline blood is extremely good. Now, acid reflux happens here at a 5. Shocking, eh? So if you buy 5, that's where acid reflux happens, because there's not enough acid in the stomach to be able to create this closing of the valve, saying it's not a danger. You may have heard people say they get acid reflux when they eat a banana, or they have acid reflux when they drink water. Now, what's this happening? If you're having a banana and then you got acid reflux, it means you're just above 5. Eating the banana is going to take you below or close enough to 5, and that's going to mean it's going to trigger sufficient acid in the stomach to give you acid reflux. If you drink water and then it gives you acid reflux, it means you may be like a 4, and you drink some water and it dilutes it to take it to 5, which now takes you to the acid reflux trigger. And that's what happens. Now, if we keep our stomach on a 1.5, you're not going to have acid reflux. Just not possible. The body does not allow that. Now, if we talk about nutrition, if you're not digesting enough, you're not getting sufficient nutrition to keep a cell healthy. When we deprive the cell from sufficient nutrition, the membrane is going to get rigid. It's going to get hard. You're going to battle to get the nutrition in. You're going to battle to get the waste product out. That means insulin's going to get higher. Your blood sugar is going to get higher. Cancer is going to form easier. A plethora of problems going to start happening. So we want to make sure that when the food gets to our small intestines, it's broken down sufficient to be able to then digest with the pancreas and the gallbladder enzymes. And what happens is, if you just look on the side of that, it's got this forest. And this forest means the food particles can get in between these forest trees and get lost for a while. Then it goes through the membrane and it's into the bloodstream, and now we can absorb these nutrients to the rest of the body. But if we're not breaking it down, this villi, this forest, is going to be broken off. And that is where you're going to have things like celiac disease, or you're not going to be absorbing. Bloating and all these type of things happen because there's not enough acid in the stomach. So just a reminder, stomach's going to be acid. Because the gallbladder is going to be alkaline, our small intestines need to be alkaline as well. Then it's going to become acidic again into the large intestine. So it's not going about let's keep our body alkaline. It's let's get our alkaline and our acidic levels correct throughout the entire body. You can self-diagnose to know whether you've got low stomach acid by taking 2 cups. That's a double portion. One cup is a portion. So taking 2 cups of beet and consume 2 cups of beet. If your stool or your urine change of color, you're going to be able to then see, or that's going to be a symptom that your stomach acid is too low. So if you've seen your urine also being very yellow, it says there's more protein in the urine, and that means your kidneys are taking strain because there's too low stomach acid. So kidney problems come from low stomach acid. Can you see how important stomach acid is? You can go look at your functions, kidney functions, you can go look at that. If you see that happening, you can immediately know low stomach acid. When you look at in the toilet, if it's a submarine, it's good. If you've got floaters, what's busy happening? The undigested food particles are creating this floaters, and that means low stomach acid. So just to remind you, acid in the stomach would stay within the stomach because it will close automatically. Low stomach acid creates this effect where it then releases the acids, which is not sufficient to burn through the esophagus. It's only to be able to give a sting. And that's where we talk about acid reflux. Now, like I mentioned, acid reflux happens at 5. If you've got some acid reflux and you drink a lot of water, what's going to happen? You're also going to alkaline that little bit of acid, which means it's going to take you to a 6 or higher. Now, when the doctors give you medication to be anti-acid in the stomach, what's busy happening? They're taking you above a 6. So if you had acid reflux, they give you medication, the reflux diagnosis changes from acid to silent. Why is it silent? You just cannot feel it, but you still got a reflux. Okay, so when you're taking the antacids, rest assured you're going to be changing your acid reflux to a silent reflux, which is still a diagnosis that's going to be able to make, because you are not digesting your food. There's not enough acid in the stomach, and that's going to give you an array of different problems that you're going to have to face on conditions that's going to become a condition which can be cancer, diabetes, celiac disease. It's an array of different amount of conditions that's going to be diagnosed because you have not got enough acid in the stomach. So go watch my protocol about apple cider vinegar. I went into some detail about that. If you're on the page where we deal with stomach acid and apple cider vinegar, it will just be below this video, and on that basis you can at least get to know more what is the solution to be able to get more acid in the stomach.